But thank you all for joining us this morning. I love Japan, and we love Wendy Wu at Baldwin's. We've worked very closely with them for years. I was having a quick look at the online brochure actually this morning and can see that we can book well into 2023 now, which is all a bit shocking because I feel like I'm still in 2019. But Japan's lovely to hear all about because it's such a diverse country and culture, completely different to ours. We always love booking Japan. We love hearing all of our experiences of our clients when they come back. It's such a fascinating area to travel to. So without further ado, I'll introduce Joe, who works for Wendy Wu, and we're lucky to have him to tell us all things Japan this morning. If you've got any questions, I believe Joe will probably let you know when you can ask those. And obviously at Baldwin's, we are all here. We're on restricted staff, just keeping our staff nice and safe behind locked doors at the moment, but contactable by email and telephone. So obviously you can speak to us anytime. Over to you, Joe.
Thanks, Laura, and good morning, everybody. Yeah, as Laura said, really, Japan is a fantastic destination. I'm very lucky to have been. I think with the Olympics at the moment, hopefully we're all getting even more excited, not just about GB and our fantastic start to this Olympics, but also just some of the images that you're actually seeing of Tokyo. But there is, of course, so much more to Japan than just Tokyo. And I'm just going to give you a flavour of some of the things that you can do in Japan, some of the food, the places to go, a little bit more about rural Japan as well as the big cities, and really just to give you hopefully a flavour and overview, get you excited, tell you about some of our special offers at the end, and then also be able to answer any questions that anybody may have at the end. So hopefully everything will work fine. We always get a bit nervous with anything technical. Sometimes the videos don't play or slides don't move on, depending on the internet connection, but let's see how we go. So first of all, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Wendy Wu. Now, you may or may not be familiar with us. We are the UK's #1 Asia tour operator for escorted tours. Nobody from the UK sends more people away to China and Japan than we do. Now, most of our clients do travel on what we call our fully inclusive packages. These are called our classic tours, and they include everything. So that's your flights, 4-star accommodation, all of your guiding, all of your experiences, and nobody includes more high quality experiences than we do, and all of your food, taking you to fabulous restaurants and places that we really know you're going to be very well catered for. So you really, all you have to do, the hardest thing, get to your UK airport departure point. So when you arrive in destination, we take care of everything. Now, for some of you that may want something maybe not completely fully including all of your meals, we do have some tours which we called Go Beyond tours. They get you off the beaten track a little bit more. They don't include all meals. You get a little bit more free time. And of course, we can tailor make any trip as well. If a visa is required for any of our destinations and it isn't for Japan, then that is also included in the price. We've won a huge amount of awards. We've got 5-star TripAdvisor rating, gold trusted service on FIFO, 20+ years experience in travel from the UK. We have the best guides in the business. And as Laura said, we've worked with Baldwin's for many, many years, and we've got a 97% customer satisfaction ratio. So you can be assured you're going to be in great hands with a Wendy Wu tour. So this is the front cover of our new Japan brochure. We don't have it printed at the moment, so it is available as an online resource, and Baldwin's can help you with that. We've got 13 tours, 11 classic and 2 of those Go Beyond. And a lot of people, when they go to this part of the world, do like to do some additional add-ons, such as Taiwan, South Korea, Hong Kong, maybe a stopover in Dubai, depending on who you're flying with. But we also do have tours in their own right of Taiwan and South Korea. Now, the tours range from 8 up to 21 days. And I need to change this slide because actually we've got departures right the way through to November 2023. So plenty of time to be able to book and travel with us. And for any solo people listening, we do have some dedicated solo tours as well. So that's just a little flavour of Japan. And first of all, I want to talk to you about time of year to go. Now, currently in Japan and in the months of July and August, it is very hot and very humid. And you will have seen and heard that if you have been watching the Olympics. We don't tend to operate tours at that time of year for those very reasons. We like to make sure that we operate our tours at the optimum times to actually see the best of any destination that we go to. Now, what you're looking at here, this image is Japan in cherry blossom, and this is a cherry blossom outdoor picnic. What I say when people ask me about the best time of year to go, it really depends on whether you want to see cherry blossom in Japan or not. If it's something that you're not really that interested in, it would be nice, but you're not that bothered, then my advice would be to go outside of cherry blossom time. Now, cherry blossom is only a 3-week period, last week in March, first couple of weeks in April, but it is very, very busy at this time because it's such a big event for the Japanese and they are all out and about and enjoying cherry blossom season. So my tip would be to maybe go in May, and in the foothills of Mount Fuji, there is the Shizabukuru Festival, which is this pink mox floss flowering that comes out. So it's almost like a cherry blossom on the floor, or alternately to go in the autumn. Now, the autumn is absolutely stunning time to go. You get these fantastic autumnal colours. The Japanese gardens look truly amazing. It's less busy. The temperature, just like in spring, is absolutely superb for touring. So that would be my advice. And also, if you go in May or September, we have 2 tours, which also include the opportunity to see sumo wrestling. So not just a training event, which a lot of other operators do, a big, proper, full tournament. And that is a real spectacle to behold. And that only happens in May and September. Now, the other big question I often get asked about is food in Japan. And it really is so much more than sushi. Miso soup, for example, and one of the experience we have is learning how miso soup is made, as well as sushi making classes as well. But the food really, really is incredible. You get lots of these types of soups, fantastic vegetables, noodles, of course, rice, and satay, some fantastic seafood, as you would expect. And the great thing about being on a Wendy Wu tour is a couple of things. We know the quality of the restaurants we take people to. You have a guide who is with you from start to finish, right the way through. So if you do have any dietary requirements or you want to ask a few more questions about what you're being served, then the guide is on hand to not only help you, but to ensure that you actually get the meal that you would like if you do have dietary requirements, such as vegetarian, gluten-free, as an example. And it's really sometimes about the rituals of eating food in Japan. So in one of our tours, our Offbeat Japan tour, and this is one of those Go Beyond tours, gets you off the beaten track. We take you up to a place called Koyasan, and you stay in a 13th century temple with Buddhist monks. And it's a real traditional experience. And here they serve you a vegetarian meal. And of course, you have the low seating, as you can see. And the food is just so tasty. And one of my favorites, while we're on the subject of food, is Hida beef, which you can sample in Takayama. It's the only place where it's actually served, really. And it's a form of Wagyu beef, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And it's all about the marbling and the texture. But the cattle are raised in the Takayama area. They're a specific black cattle. And a lot of people say that this beef is fantastic because of the alpine conditions, the clear water, the fantastic grazing meadows. Whatever it is, I can assure you it's really, really tasty. So that's just a few examples of some of the things that you do on Wendy Wu tours. And it really, for me, the beauty of escorted touring is these experiences. And we have really authentic experiences. So for example, a tea ceremony. When we do our tea ceremonies, we do them in Kyoto, and they are in specific venues that are dedicated for delivering tea ceremonies by a Japanese tea master. And it really is a fantastic experience to learn how they put this, the ritual behind the green matcha tea, and you're able to get involved in it, and the rooms with the tatami mat flooring. And it's just such a beautiful, beautiful experience. It's very difficult to explain, but what I can tell you is you will have no other experience like this in Japan. And there's a lot of more tourist types, but you really do need to have a traditional Japanese tea ceremony to get the most out of this experience. Things like fan painting. I did a calligraphy lesson whilst I was there. So there's lots of these sort of hands-on experiences. As I mentioned, sushi making. We even take you to a wasabi farm, and you learn about wasabi and the different types of wasabi. So this is basically the horseradish, if you like, the Japanese horseradish. And it's quite expensive. And outside of Japan, because not that much is actually cultivated in the country, you find that the wasabi that you will often buy outside of Japan is what's known as Western wasabi. And it is a very, very different taste. It's nowhere near the quality of the traditional Japanese wasabi. So you can learn all about that, and of course have the opportunity to buy some if you wish to. And sake tasting. A lot of people, you know, have had sake in the occasional Japanese restaurant in the UK maybe, but there are lots and lots of different types, and it's not all having to be warmed. It's not all harsh, and we'll take you to a brewery and you'll get the opportunity to sample the very different types of sake. And it really is a great experience. And this is another one of my favorites. We do this again on our Offbeat Japan tour, which is taiko drumming. And you'll learn how to do that. And we take you around the Asakusa district in Tokyo, where we actually do the drumming. And you can see some images here from Tokyo, including the robot restaurant, which is a show really, rather than a sort of cafe. They have lots of different types of cafes: dog, cat, owl. I saw a hedgehog cafe when I was there. And Tokyo really is what you expect. You know, it's neon lit. It is fantastic. It's very vibrant and very futuristic. And this show is like no other, with not just robots, but ninjas and dragons and people dressed up and singing and really loud music, and really quite an experience. And of course, no trip to Japan would be complete without traveling at some point on the bullet train. Now, all of our tours, there is at least one bullet train travel, but we do have a tour Japan by rail, where you get the opportunity to explore all 3 islands. Now, most people who visit Japan will visit the main island you can see there of Honshu. Now, across these 3 islands, there's 6,500 actually in Japan, but across these 3, it's where I think it's something like 99% of the population actually live. The main one there, Honshu, that's where most people go. It's got all the big sites that you would like to see: Hiroshima, Mirajima Shrine Island, Himeji Castle, Osaka, Kyoto, Takayama up in the Japanese Alps, absolutely stunning. And of course, Tokyo and Mount Fuji. Then up in the north, you have the area of Hokkaido, and the capital there, Sapporo, and the fantastic star-shaped fort at Hakodate. And being northern, obviously, it can be very cold depending on the time of year that you go. And then down in the bottom island there, you have the island of Kyushu, which is much more rural, very volcanic, incredibly scenic, and very, very beautiful. So as you can see here, this is Mount Fuji. And this is a real iconic image of Mount Fuji. And most Japanese people will have climbed there at least once. at 3,776 meters high. It is the highest mountain. And also, it's really worth going to see up in Yudanaka the Japanese macaques, the snow monkeys. They come down from the mountains. You get very, very close to them, and they bathe in the hot springs. And they are the most northern living primates in the world. And it really is a fabulous experience. They are wild, so this isn't a zoo that you go and see them in. You are seeing them in their natural habitat, and you can just spend ages just watching them pruning each other and having a great time. But we don't leave the hot spring baths just for the monkeys on a Wendy Wu tour. When we're up in the Japanese Alps, you'll stay in a fabulous hotel and have a fantastic Japanese onsen. Very, very traditional. Great experience, really beautiful in these hot springs that come through. For me, again, it's just one of those must-do experiences. And Kyoto. So Kyoto is the ancient capital of Japan before the emperor decided to move to Tokyo. And for me, Kyoto really encapsulates that whole traditional Japan. It is where you're going to see geishas if you are going to see them. And I really loved it. This particular area you're looking at here is the Gion area. And behind these shutters are little bars and restaurants. And also it's where the geishas live, and there's geisha shows. And it really is stunning. And the opportunity to actually see and spend time with geishas is a real, real privilege, because there's not that many around now. As I said before, we do our tea ceremonies in Kyoto. It is where tea really developed as a ritual and for something for the sort of emperors and the rich. It will take you also to see the Golden Pavilion. Now, this is where this Zen temple is layered in 2 layers of solid gold leaf. And it's stunning gardens, absolutely beautiful. Really, really loved spending time there. And you do get some free time to wander off before you join back your guide. We take you on a rickshaw through the bamboo forest as well. These are really once in a lifetime experiences. And as I mentioned previously, we do take people on one particular tour, our Offbeat Japan tour, up to Koyasan. As I mentioned previously, this is a 13th century temple inhabited by Buddhist monks. And you'll be able to understand their way of life and stay in a really, really traditional ryokan. And rising the next day to actually, if you wish to, spend some time with the monks in prayer and chanting. Now, this ryokan here, there are 2 types of ryokans. Now, on a Wendy Wu tour, you'll stay in 4-star hotels. However, we always like to put a ryokan experience in. And there are 2 different types. This is the more sort of Western type, as you can see, because it's got proper chairs as well as the seating on the floor. And the futon is slightly raised. When you're in Koyasan, that is a real traditional ryokan, because it's the tatami flooring. The futon is on the floor. It's got the rice paper walls, shared bathing facilities, but that's when you're up in Koyasan. So there are a couple of different types, but it is an experience you have to do, I believe, when you're in Japan. Now, this is the only remaining building, the A-dome in Hiroshima, from the initial blast, which killed 80,000 people. And Hiroshima is a fantastic place to actually visit. We then saw an image of Mirajima Shrine Island, which is not too far from Hiroshima, and we go out and visit there, and those fantastic orange torii gates. And here is another example of food. So this is what's known as an okiyakiyami pancake. Now, what we do on a Wendy Wu tour is there are very different cooking styles and recipes in the different regions. So in Osaka, for example, they make this with cabbage, some savory meats, for example, some other vegetables, spring onions, and they mix it all together and then fry it. But in Osaka, that's in Osaka. And then in Hiroshima, what they actually do is they add ingredients to this, they layer it, they put in noodles, and they also put it on a fried egg. So you will get to taste dishes that have got rural differences, and that will give you a different understanding and insight into Japanese culture. And when we're up in the Alps, a fantastic place to visit is Takayama. It's a really beautiful rural alpine village with this fantastic sloping architecture of the roofs you can see here, which is called Gasho style. It's actually built to withstand the huge snowfall that they get in the winter. However, as you would expect with Japanese, there's always another meaning, and it's also to represent the hands of Buddhist monks in prayer. And it really takes you back to what you can imagine ancient Japan would look like. So it really is a beautiful experience. And like I said, this is the place to be tasting that Hida beef. Now, there's a number of castles around Japan. There are 12 which are recognized by the Japanese as being ultimate cultural heritage sites. A lot of them are UNESCO sites. And, this is Matsumoto, which is also known as the Black Crow Castle. And we'll also take you on the opportunities on some of our tours to see Himeji Castle, which is the best preserved castle in Japan. And the reason for that is that it's never been involved in any conflict, and it's not had to withstand any natural disasters either. So it's not only the most well preserved, a lot of people say it is one of the most beautiful. It's also called the White Heron Castle. As you can see, it looks like and is to resemble that particular bird. Now, this is the star-shaped fort at Hakodate, up on the northern island of Hokkaido. And this is very unique. There is no other fortress that has been built like this in the world. And then on the southern island, as I mentioned earlier, very rural, very volcanic. You have Mount Aso, which has a 100-kilometer crater. You also have the hot springs at Beppu as well. Now, these springs you cannot bathe in because they are too hot. They are incredibly volcanic, but fantastic sights and lots of beautiful countryside to see on that southern island of Kyushu. And the capital, Tokyo, obviously where everything's happening for the Olympics at the moment. And it's very easy, I think, to just focus on the modern side of Tokyo. But even in this image, you can see some of those more older traditional buildings. And I think that mixture really of modern and traditional Tokyo. Yes, we're all familiar with the neon lit skyscrapers, the vending machines on every corner that sell absolutely everything. In fact, they say there's one for every 23 people in Japan. And if you put them back to back, it would stretch from Tokyo to Hawaii. But you don't have to go far from here to see the more traditional side of Tokyo. The Asakusa district with the Thunder Gate that you're looking at here, just as one example. Yogi Park as well, which is absolutely beautiful. And it's almost like a Japanese version, I guess, of Central Park, but much more serene with a lake. Although you can see the skyscrapers in the background, there's people doing Tai Chi, playing checkers, reading a book. And I think that really encapsulates Japan for me. It really is about just being in the country sometimes, just watching what's going on, interacting with the people who are absolutely lovely and so friendly. And here we have Shibuya, the busiest crossing probably in the world. Up to a couple of thousand people cross at any one point in time. And this really is sort of how people envisage Tokyo. And it is like that, but like I say, going on a Wendy Wu tour, we will take you off of those beaten tracks and that sort of main city area. And in Tokyo as well, in the Asakusa district, it is the only place where there are two different religions, shrines sharing the same space, where you have a Shinto shrine and a Buddhist temple as well. So that's in Sensoji, just off the Asakusa district. And the fabulous Skytree, the tallest tower in the world, not the tallest building, but the tallest tower in the world. And the opportunity to go up here and get 360-degree views of the whole of Tokyo. It is absolutely stunning. They've got some cafes up there, lots of observation points, It's a real must-see again experience of modern Japan. Now, our most popular tour is Japan Uncovered, and we launched this actually in 2018, and we only put 6 departure dates on sale for 2019. It was so popular because it really, nobody else does a tour so comprehensive of the main island, with all of the experiences, all of your meals, all of the sites included. It was so popular, we ended up selling 25 different departure dates in 2019. And this has still continued to be our most popular tour. Obviously, at the moment, people are unable to travel to Japan, but we expect Japan to definitely be open for the early part of 2022. The reason for that is that their vaccination program is now really picking up speed, and they expect to have the majority of their adult population, if not all of them, vaccinated by the end of November. So we really are confident Japan will be opening up to international tourists the early part of 2022. And it will be a fabulous, fabulous time to go. But for those of you looking further ahead, we do have 2023 on sale as well. Now, in these current times, we have our flexible booking guarantee. It's just a £99 per person deposit for you to secure any of our tours. So please go to Baldwin's with regards to that, and they will get you a quote. If you do need to change your holiday for any reason, doesn't matter what it is, you have a free date amendment, and the balance is not due until 6 weeks before departure. And obviously, if we have to cancel a tour, we would do that before that 6-week balance due date. So you won't have paid as large amounts of money, and you'll have the option to change dates, move to another destination possibly, or alternately to have your deposit back. So your money is, without a doubt, 100% safe and guaranteed. So just as a recap on those offers, this is for our Olympic campaign. It's for any departures on our group tours in 2022 or 2023. And you can have a choice of either free return economy flights, so that's saving up to £700 per person. And for any solo travellers on any of our tours, we have taken away the single supplement. And that can save you, as you can see here, just short of £2,000. That Japan Uncovered tour, the big 17-day tour. So you would pay the same amount, have your own room as a couple would, for example, going on a tour. So that is the end of the presentation. I will now open up the video panel. Hopefully I'll be able to do that and I can see everybody. Let me just try that again. If anybody has any questions, please do just unmute yourself and ask away. I seem to have lost my video panel, so unfortunately I can't see anybody. Hopefully some of you may have some questions. You can chat box as well if you do. I don't know if Laura can see anybody.
I can see. I don't think anybody's unmuted themselves. I think you've probably covered everything that we need to know.
I'm sorry, I can't see everybody. Something's gone wrong, but we managed to get through the presentation at least. Obviously, if anybody does have any questions, they would like to get a quote, take advantage of these fantastic offers, please get straight back in touch with Baldwin's. They're a fantastic travel agent. I've worked with them for many, many years, and everybody needs your support. So please do get in touch with them if you would like to.
There is a little question that
somebody's asking a question here.
Oh,
do we go to Okinawa? We don't go to Okinawa on a group tour, but we can do that with regards to a tailor-made tour, or alternately you could do it as an extension to a group tour. So yes, we are able to organise that, of course. If anybody else has any questions and they're a bit shy and they'd rather type in the box, then please go ahead. We'll give you a few seconds to maybe type. The one thing I would say about Japan for 2022, a lot of people were due to travel in 2020, particularly for cherry blossom, and they moved to 2021 and they've moved to 2022. A lot of people are due to travel in 2021 and have now moved over to 2022. And that just won't be with us, that will be with other destinations and companies as well. So my personal advice is, if Japan is anywhere near the top 3 of your places you're yet to visit in the world, I would book it sooner rather than later, because things are only going to get more expensive because of these lockdowns. Flights are going to be harder, there's going to be less flights, they are going to be more expensive, hotels are going to be putting their prices up, and this is not just for Japan, it's for all destinations. So if you do see anything, whether it's with us or anybody else, and it's a great deal, and it's not any risk to you to put a deposit down and book it, then my advice, because I'm doing this myself, I'm booking up for my 2022 holidays and I'm now looking at 2023, I would strongly advise booking sooner rather than later if you really want to take advantage of those. And Baldwins will be able to help you with all destinations across the whole of the world. Thank you, Julie, for saying thanks for the presentation. I think I've probably given everyone an opportunity to ask a question if they had one. So thank you very much, everyone, for your time. Thank you, Laura, as always. And everybody have a great rest of the day. Enjoy the Olympics if you're watching it. And hopefully you'll be in touch soon and visiting Japan with Wendy Wu Tours. Thank you very much.